Yes, we've got a few crater lakes where you hit the boat and catch a fish. But
and you know what? Don't care about those fish
don't
anywhere.
care about those fish. Me either.
Welcome everybody to the Deep Drop and thanks for tuning in. I'm Adam Ring and with me is Luke McCredden, and on this podcast we break down all the big questions that you sit around after a big fishing trip and ask all your mates. So Luke, what do we got?
Should New South Wales and Victorian fisheries align with bag limits and slot limits?
I actually don't think that New South Wales and Victoria should align on bag and slot limits. And my reason for saying no is because there's so many, the fisheries are so vastly different. They're similar in the species that we're fishing for, but I think it's important that each fishery, including the bag limits and size limits, is managed by each state body in regard to those exact waterways.
Yep.
So in Victoria, we might have a system for, say, well, Dusky Flathead's a great example.
Yep.
We might have certain systems that are really struggling that would require changing a bag limit or introducing a slot limit.
Yep.
Whereas New South Wales might be flourishing in that area and don't need, because I am a huge believer in we shouldn't be restricting anything. I understand that we should have bag limits, and and I'm a massive one for slot limits. I think they're essential, but I don't think we should be putting rules on and bag limits on for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that each state identifies where their problem is and then implements solutions to help either maintain or improve those areas as they keep going forward. So for me, it's a hard no. I don't think they should be the same.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. One of the reasons I bring it up, I suppose, is using flathead as an example, is that you're literally one system is this side of the border and there's a great system the other side of the border. So I just think maybe it takes out some confusion. I know I'm probably playing dumb here a little bit and there's the old, I didn't know, and that's not an excuse. You have to know. You have to know regulations wherever you're fishing. But, I think also for something like a dusky flathead, I'm not sure there is that big a difference in how the stocks are holding up in either state. Now, I might be wrong. That's just my feel. I was thinking about fish like dusky flathead, obviously. Even kingfish, snapper, mulloway.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. Now, if I just want to, for the sake of throwing some numbers around here, Ads, currently the Victorian dusky flathead slot limit is 30 as a minimum and 55 as a max, correct?
Yep.
And New South Wales, as I said, recent changes have seen a minimum of 36 and a max of 70. So there's a fair difference there between the two.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily dislike either, but I kind of like the Victorian setup where it's really a bit narrower.
Well, I think this is probably a perfect example of why I think we need to keep them separately. And I'm not bad mouthing any other system or the way they do things, but naturally, each individual governing body is going to place a different amount of importance on certain species or certain waterways, and they should.
Yeah.
But so say we have a love affair with dusky flathead down here we just need to make sure there's heaps of them, so we'll have this really narrow slot limit. If we put more importance on that species, but New South Wales don't really see them in the same light that we do, then it should be up to each of those things, because I actually think we have quite an active fishery set up in Victoria.
Yep.
And we won't get into the politics of it. It's not the question we're asked, but I think it is managed quite well, and they're quite active with how they do manage it. And I think the importance they put on the fisheries is big, especially for those iconic species like a dusky flathead. I don't know how that works in New South Wales, so I don't want to comment on it. But I think it should be up to each individual body to work out what importance they put on their own fisheries.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that. You've done your homework there, and I appreciate it. That's good. That's good. For our summary, I think you're a hard no.
I'm a hard no. I
And
think we should.
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I'm open to it. Bit of consistency with some of our species.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes?
Yeah, I'm saying yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and look at like a mulloway, for example. Our minimum size is 60 centimetres with a bag limit of 5. Bag
limit's a different
size.
question.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll tackle that in a future episode.
Mulloway, Victoria, minimum 60. New South Wales, 70. I'm like, well, it's not that big. Like, why not just sort of align it? I don't know. I'm being lazy thinking I don't want to have to think about two different...
Yeah, which I get it, and that has to be factored
Actually, my
in.
biggest problem is catching a mulloway, so it's not concerning me at the moment. But,
And see, slot limit's another. Actually, you know what? Hey, write that down for a future episode. Let's talk about slot limits. So, okay, that's interesting. So you're open to it, and I'm hard no.
Okay, let's move on.
Get involved, people. I want to know. It's actually an interesting topic.
Well, look, we and it's probably no secret now that we are from Victoria, but I don't want to speak on behalf of Victorians. I want to speak broader.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Maybe there's some folks in New South Wales who might give us their opinion from their view. Maybe our size limits and so forth seem a bit silly to them, to other states. So,
very true.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it for sure.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Is a fish caught land-based worth more than a fish caught from a boat?
It's that effort versus reward thing, isn't it? Because not taking away from anyone who fishes out of a boat, but you kind of feel naturally, without thinking too much about it, you feel like land-based fishing is more of an effort.
Yeah.
So whether it's a squid or other end of the scale, a marlin off the rocks at JB, I think there probably is. Something that people do really well, and I know there is a lot of effort involved, is snapper specifically. I think definitely.
I'm glad you bring that up, because that was basically going to be my answer. I think it's solely dependent on the species. Because, if you caught a handful of salmon or trevally off the rocks, I couldn't care less.
No.
I couldn't care less. Get them from the beach, get them from the pier, get them from the boat. I really don't care.
Yeah.
But show me half a dozen pinkies or a couple of good snapper.
Yeah.
And you got them off the beach or off the rocks or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Kudos to you.
Yeah. And
I'll pay that.
Let's while we're on that, let's talk about a couple other species. A kingfish off the stones,
Big
or a pelagic off the stones.
Mulloway.
Yeah. No, it's a good call. I think it is species specific. But it's also, there's differences in gear. So you kind of got to be across what you're doing a little bit too. So I think we can't undersell the fact that catching a fish is an effort, whether you're in a boat or off the beach or wherever you are.
Definitely. They both throw different challenges at you.
Yeah, different battles. You're battling conditions, your terrain a lot when you're on foot.
Yeah.
But you're battling
people,
dickheads in other boats when you're in a boat.
True.
But there's all sorts of battles. But I think I'm confidently saying species specific. So snapper,
yes.
A lot of pelagics and game fish, absolutely worth more brownie points. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and you could almost walk to the boat ramp with one of these fish and go, how'd you go? And if someone goes, oh, he was tough out there, you just go, well.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on foot, brother.
It was pretty easy down here.
And, that's a good one. That is a good one. And maybe, because I know in Victoria there was a particular side of Port Phillip Bay that fishes really well for decent snapper, but to really the best time is in the most horrendous weather conditions you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
So you add that element and it's like, mate, if you even just go and attempt it, credit to you.
Yeah, that's right.
If you catch a fish, shit, that's amazing.
Yeah, good luck getting it up on the rocks without dying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We should, safety. Always safety first.
But you'll get more street cred.
You'll get lots of cuts on your legs. But you'll get a lot of street cred. Great one. I think, yeah. Is it a yes from you?
100% yes from me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I don't even think it's like I said, species specific, like garfish, don't care. But,
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that, isn't it, though? Like a pier jetty type arrangement. I love it. And love it. I still love taking the kids down to the pier and the jetty and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. But if you're talking you and me, you want to do some trekking, some bush bashing.
Yeah.
You know.
I was going to say jetty. Fuck the jetty.
No, yeah. But hitting the stones, you know, working your guts out.
Yeah.
Getting
Walking,
the
like you said,
snapper.
walking for a trout.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
because it's it's a whole different set of circumstances. There's a whole different thing.
Well, I mean, you just raised something there. I mean, trout, the vast majority, particularly in Victoria, are land-based. Yes, we've got a few crater lakes where you hit the boat and catch a fish, but
And you know what? Don't care about those fish
don't
anywhere.
care about
much.
those fish. Me either. Show me a photo of a dude in waders holding a really nice brown trout in a stream that's just picturesque any day over someone with
In
a
a saltwater volcano lake.
dirty big downrigger bomb. Oh no! Look, good on. I've never done it. I've never fished those crater lakes in a boat.
I have.
Oh, and was it as shit as you thought it would be?
Yeah, it was. I shouldn't say that because I had a great time.
Did you catch anything?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. You've also caught plenty of trout wading in a river.
Yeah.
What felt better? What
Oh,
feels
river.
better? Yeah.
Didn't even have to think about it.
Wow.
Just automatic.
All right, because I've got on my list of things to do is to fish some of those lakes because I just haven't. I'm not going to now.
I shouldn't say it's shit. It's just it's not.
It's different.
It's not the same.
So that is still true. So
Yeah.
land-based more cred.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's an overall land-based more cred from
Yeah.
both of us.
How do you deal with a seal being a jerk around your boat?
I'm going to start by addressing some of the things we're not allowed to say.
Yeah.
So we're not allowed to say throw sinkers at them.
No, we can't be. Seal clubbing's a thing that
Yeah.
it's not happening anymore.
Not allowed to say shoot them.
No. Wonderful creatures.
Yeah.
Look after them.
So you're not allowed to gaff them.
No. No.
So really, there's only one answer in my mind.
Yeah.
You can't deal with them.
It's such a frustrating moment, whether you're offshore, inshore, wherever, and you just know the first time that you see that seal pop up for air, you just think, shit.
Well, even before that, when's the last time you heard a seal breach the surface and it didn't scare the shit out of you?
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. Well, that's part of it being a jerk around your boat, isn't it? But ultimately, I think the one thing that we all instantly go to is the fact that we're not going to land a fish.
Yeah.
It doesn't put the fish off necessarily.
Nope.
Quite often you'll be having a great set and the seals are hanging around, you're catching left, right and centre, but landing them is such a challenge.
And they're the worst because they clearly don't want to eat them.
No.
Because they bring them up to the top and they chuck them around
Yep.
almost to spite you.
Oh, yeah, they're being smartasses. For sure, they rip them apart and then swim off.
Yeah.
And wait for the next one. I think it's a you address some good issues. We can't condone being silly and doing anything. But I think the reason it's a good question is because it is a question that no one's got an answer.
No.
Ultimately, there's not much you can do.
Have you ever
move?
Have you ever mucked around with the just cruising past another boat real close to try and drop the seal off and move
Interesting maneuver.
Does it work?
Interesting maneuver.
on? Does it work?
I believe it does. Maybe.
It's a great maneuver.
It's a
if
maneuver.
it works, I'm all for it.
It's a maneuver. You can just slowly move away. The seal will follow if you're moving slowly. They're not like dolphins where they'll hang around if you're belting across them.
Yeah.
But seals will hang around if you're just moving slowly. So you can do the old get close to another boat technique and then burn off really fast. But the other one, look, for me, there's three options. Realistically, there's three options. One is that you just move because sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You just got to pack up, move.
Yeah.
You don't always have to move far, by the way, because those seals might be just in their spot and having a good old time. The other thing is you just go hard. Like if you're whatever
Try and
you've
beat the
hooked,
seal?
you've got to try and beat the seal.
Yeah, good luck with
It's
that.
fun for the first couple of times before you realise you cannot beat them. The other option is and this is a tough one because quite often if you're catching, the seals are there because you're catching fish, is to just stop fishing for 5 minutes or so. Just to see if that action of hooking the fish and dragging them up to the top, if you stop that for a while, it might be enough for the seal to go, oh, well, this is boring, I'm buggering off.
That's an I've never thought of that.
We've done that a few times with kingfish offshore, particularly it's hard when you're around islands or headlands and that because they're living there. So they're going to just wait till you hook up and jump off the rocks.
They're going to be there anyway.
But if you're far enough away, often you can just stop even for 5-10 minutes and it might be enough for them to go, oh, this is no fun anymore. I'm going.
I never thought of that.
Your initial reaction is to go, well, bugger this, let's go.
I'm out.
Yeah. But, I would try all three. Have a crack at dragging him, skull dragging.
Actually,
Absolutely.
There probably is another option.
What's that?
Wait for your mate to hook up and then quickly drop a jig or a bait or something.
A decoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, man, there's just so much destruction of gear when they get involved
Oh,
too.
There's nothing good about it.
What do they do?
Yeah, what do they do? Because they stink.
They stink.
They climb. They're not afraid to climb up the boat and have a crack.
Well, no, or climb in your boat.
Yeah,
that's frightening.
When they get in, you get out.
Yeah. I think the question's how do you deal with them? I don't think there is a real answer that solves that question.
I reckon you just got to move.
But to summarise, I think moving's a great option.
Try the 5-minute break.
Nah, it's defeatist. I'm saying have a crack. Skull drag fish. See how you go. Then try the 5-minute break.
Yeah.
10-minute break if it has to be.
So it's a process.
And then if all else fails, move. Try the offloading to your mate's boat.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Or
Even if they're not your mate.
Nah, not your mate. Just a stranger.
You know that guy that always gets too close?
There's always a guy that gets too close, and he or she deserves the seal.
100%.
Yeah. So, look, I hope that's... But I don't know. There might be other ways to do it. Get involved and tell us. We always like hearing from everyone, but just keep in mind we understand the frustration and there's violent thoughts, but we know that's not something that we can do.
Happy to acknowledge the violent thought. If you followed through, don't comment.
Don't comment.
Please don't comment. We don't want to know.
We've all thought it, but And there are stories back in the day of old timers.
And that's a different
but
time.
That's a different time. Not our place to say whether that's right or wrong. Anyway, I hope that's there's something there that you can get involved in because we love hearing from you. So get involved. Let us know your thoughts. Instagram's the best place to do that. Ads the deep drop. Just search it and have a look. Tell us what you think. Prove us wrong in anything that we've said, but also share your thoughts on it. That's what we love to hear from.
And if there's any questions you'd like us to have a chat about, send them through.
Wow,
it's an ever-growing list we've got going on here, Luke.
It's a never-ending list, I think, is what we're saying. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will speak to you again.